Maximilien de Robespierre, a primary leader of the French Revolution, was known throughout most of his political career as the Incorruptible. Early in his rise to prominence on April 21, 1793, he said, "Any institution which does not suppose the people good and the magistrate corruptible is evil." This demonstrates that he was skeptical of power and his position. It shows that he had a sympathy for the common man. In contrast to this, on February 26, 1794, in a speech to the National Assembly, he showed a lack of appreciation for this power and sympathy for the people when he said, "Pity is treason." Statements like this ended Robespierre's career and life. The transformation in the way he led the French people in their revolution illustrates much for us about the rights given to political leaders and how they can fail in their obligations to the people if not properly checked. Despite his good intentions, Robespierre became a tyrant. He was corrupted by power because of his high-profile position in the revolutionary government, the rights surrendered to him by the French people, and the susceptibility of the Reign of Terror to turn its leaders against each other.
Is it just madness keeping us afloat? And when I look back
Robespierre began his career as a lawyer in 1779 at the age of 21 in Paris, France, with the ultimate goal of protecting the rights of the lower class. The most significant part of his career, however, the part in which he enters the grand scheme of history, began when he was elected to represent the Third Estate in 1783. The Third Estate was the portion of the government that represented the general populace. The First and Second Estates, which had much more political power, were representative of the monarchy and the clergy. Robespierre led his estate to have much more power, and in doing so gained the favor of the people. His nickname, the Incorruptible, was given because of his ceaseless devotion to his cause and his insistence on living below his means as a deputy of the estate. However, the people's pride in him contributed to his eventual downfall. Near the end of his career in 1794, after having been granted unrivaled power by the people, Robespierre organized an event called the Festival of the Supreme Being, at which he presented himself to the masses at the pinnacle of a symbolic mountain. Some of his fellow deputies criticized what he did as self-exaltation. To many, this was a clear and frightening sign of what he thought of his near absolute power. Soon after the festival, France opted to be rid of him. The actions taken by Robespierre at the beginning of the revolution were geared toward liberating the average citizen, for a time. The National Convention created a new constitution for the French people, and included universal male suffrage, which Robespierre advocated. It also included a new Declaration of the Rights of Man. However, war and economic pressure on this new government revealed the weaknesses of the revolution, and implementation of the Constitution was put on hold. Instead, in June 1793, the Committee of Public Safety was established, allowing a 12-man group of government leaders, including Robespierre, to in essence enact martial law, giving them power to make war decisions, pass their own laws, and with the passage of the law of suspects in September 1793, arrest whomever they wanted. The people had believed in Robespierre, at least initially, and elected him for the purpose of protecting their rights. Yet when they were given to him, he became a tyrant.
Mind control, come let the revolution take its toll. If you could, I think a switch and open your third eye. You'd see that we should never be afraid to die. Rise up and take the power back. It's time to fat cats had a heart attack.
The effects of his tyranny are what he is most remembered for. It was a tyranny founded upon the principle that the ends of liberty, equality, and fraternity justified the means of violence and terror. The Reign of Terror was a period from 1792 until the end of the French Revolution in 1794. It was so called because of the Committee of Public Safety's use of fear tactics to control the people. There was a paranoia in the government about counter-revolutionaries trying to restore the monarchy, and so anyone who was ever rumored to be treasonous or even practiced old French customs was sentenced to death by guillotine. In all, 16,594 Frenchmen were executed. After having been accused at the National Convention, Robespierre's colleagues decide that the only way to end the terror is to execute Robespierre himself. When the National Guard come to arrest him the next day, they find that he has shot himself in the jaw in an attempted suicide. They bind his jaw and take him to be executed. Just before he is beheaded, the cloth binding his jaw is ripped from his head, and he lets out a shriek before the blade falls. Robespierre did not ever have the intention of unjustly ruling his countrymen. He may have even been aware of the imbalance between his growing set of rights and the growing number being taken from the common citizens. And yet, he turned into the kind of magistrate which he had so deeply loathed. When the French people surrendered their rights to him, he became too powerful, and when the terror turned ugly, he became a tyrant.